All right. We should be live. We will double check that in a moment here. Make sure everything's muted. Just want to see how we're looking, how we're sounding. If anyone's here listening, go ahead and chime in. Let's get it all dialed in. Okay. Looking okay over there so far. We don't want top chat, we want live chat. All right. Let's go ahead and minimize this a little bit. Let's see. There we go. And pull this off just so we can see what's happening. Okay. And the YouTubers over there. All right, this looks like we're good to go. All right, welcome. Thanks for taking some time out. If you're jumping in live or if you're just catching up on the replay, I want to thank you for tuning in and exploring the TR-1000 with me. I haven't gotten too far into it yet, just spent a couple hours from the previous video kind of talking about some of the sounds and layering and some sequencing tips and things I like. Some of the new stuff that's popped up on this that's been upgrades and improvements from the other TRs. And tonight, whatever time it is, I wanted to get into looking at sampling a bit and then maybe checking out some slicing and things like that with it. So I'll continue with what I had. I also was going to try and make a little something different. We'll see if we can make a different kind of a beat here. I make mostly house, and I probably will on this, but I like to try and explore and try a few other things and see what happens. So we'll take a look at what's going on and dive in. I'm always open to questions, so if anybody has any questions, type them up in the chat, and I'd love to hear about it. And also, please let me know how sounds are coming through, if my voice is okay here. Also, we could go with a little, wondering how this is. I can get that turned up a little more. How we sounding? We got DJ Emo. All currency accepted. I agree. So, all right, cool. Loud and clear and crisp. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, definitely started doing some car washes or GoFundMe or open up something to get yourself one. I'm loving it so far. I do find a few similarities between this and the TR-8S because I'm sure they took a lot of the inspiration from that. It was a popular selling device, and everyone gave their input on what they wanted out of that thing. So I think they took a lot of that and translated it into the 1000 and then gave it kind of that next step up from it. So instead of just being the same thing in a new box, they'll give you a lot of the same sounds, but they give you a similar layout. So when you port over, or if you were to transfer over, upgrade to the 1000, it's going to feel a little more familiar navigating around the device. It's even similar to the TR-8 and even back to the old TR-909 and 808. They keep a lot of their pattern stuff kind of all on the same side, and then their knobs and design has always kind of stayed the same. So it keeps it familiar. And where it does shine is, of course, those analog sounds come out, so you can really start pushing those and getting those extended analog voices If you still like all the ACB stuff, it's in here with the circuit bending, with the reformer and all that kind of stuff. Those are all in there for the ACB to bring that to the next level over the 8S. And in the coming days, maybe in a few episodes later, I will get the 8S and 1000 together side by side so we can compare a few similar sounds and hear how they come out of each machine. I haven't done that quite yet. Today, I wanted to focus a little more on sampling, checking out the TR-1000 app and what you can do with it. I've opened it up and tried one time to make sure it works, but dragging and dropping a sample from my computer right into the app, and it loaded it right onto a track for me and allows me to edit and everything. So, and even allows me to categorize as I'm assigning it. Really cool feature. I know a lot of people asked for that in the TR editor. In the previous version, they'd love to see more of a librarian where you can organize a lot of your sounds and kits and things like that, and also being able to drag and drop samples. So I can say the drag and drop does work. It's worked just fine. I didn't have any hiccups, but we'll give it a couple tries here live and see what happens. I'm going to get a little of my Go Juice going here, and then we'll dive on into it and see what, is it DJ Emo? Is that a DJ Mo? DJ Mo. DJ Mo. Hey, Droid. How you doing? So let's see, we just got, I'm wondering if they'll release a different color later with cheaper components, maybe bring the price down. I imagine people are going to do skins for this, like they do with the SP404. That's why they left it kind of minimal. I honestly do like the minimal look to it. Everything's clear. You're not getting jumbled up with fancy colors or blinky lights everywhere. They kept it pretty simple. To read is easy. In a dark environment, no, but generally when you're doing hardware sets, you bring your own little desk lamp or something if you need light to see. Otherwise, it's a lot of muscle memory that you're going to be working with on this, just like anything else if you're going to be performing on it. Skins would be cool. Now, bringing something at a lower price point, I might see them doing something a couple years down the road if they were to do like a smaller version of the 1000, downsize it a little bit, either less analog voicing or remove the analog voices. Oh, Amen. Amen. Yeah, I know. Okay. I remember you with the TR-8S, right? Amen Pratt? Pratt, Pratt. So, anyway. Where's it going? Oh, to have a downsized one. But I feel if they remove the analog components, it takes away what a lot of people were asking for. So, I feel they're gonna have to leave it in there somehow, and maybe just downsize to maybe just 2 or 3 of the voices, just to get it down into maybe the $1,200 to $1,500 range. I don't imagine them dropping it anywhere lower than 1,000 because they have the TR-8S for that kind of price point. They're just going for the higher price point, higher level equipment. That's all I can really assume that they're going for. So, yeah, yeah, Amen. It's the more you look at it, it's the size. Someone compared it to a regular, the old TR-909 size. This thing's huge compared to the 8S. It is quite a bit bigger. It stands taller. It definitely gets hotter. It's got those fans for those analog voices. So, 1 second here. Let me take a drink. But it does feel like a lot being, like you said, 4 times the price. But I believe you're getting at least 4 times the amount of stuff in here and stuff to do, like with the sequencing and all that. It's where they upgraded a lot of that stuff too. We'll talk into that kind of thing. And hold on. And hi, and I'm not sure. And you tell us how you got your hands on it. I got, I don't know, I got a good rep over at Sweetwater, I guess. Just got in at the right time. and was able to get one. I was the lucky few, I guess. Here in Germany, ordered on day one, release day. I have to wait till the end of the year. Huh? I know Rowan's every couple weeks or month, their warehouse is restocking them, so they're sending them out to all the distributors from there. Um, I hope you don't have to wait, Droid, till the end of the year. Um, it'd be nice if they started getting those productions out a little bit further, but I can imagine it's tricky. Different parts of the world, the different Roland um, zones or regions, because U.S. and Europe and UK and then Australia and Japan, they're all separate entities, right? They're all separate companies under kind of the big parent Japan company, but they all regulate their distribution based off their areas and stuff like that. So I'd imagine you start seeing a lot more of them popping up real soon. Um, yeah, 1500 would be a real grabber. Um, and I agree. Everything feels really good. The buttons feel really nice. They're clicky. They have a nice, not loud click, but a physical feedback. You feel the button click in. These feel really nice down here. So the display buttons and everything. So they all feel really nice. Very Octatrack-y. I got an Octatrack right below. I'd say the only difference is um, no, they feel and respond almost the same as like the Electron buttons. So everything feels nice. The faders have a good resistance to them, which is really cool. It gives you a nice feeling. Doesn't feel cheap and plasticky, and the knobs have the same kind of feel to them. The OLED screen's nice. I set it up so we can blow that screen up a little more so you don't have to worry about seeing my face. You can actually get a visual on the screen there. Digifx. And yeah, I imagine, yeah, a little bit of tariff play, I'm sure, but isn't he supposed to give us all $2,000 for paying all those tariffs? I don't know. I don't believe a damn thing. Anyway, we'll take my face off it here in a minute. We'll get into the screen when it's time, but I just want to get settled here. So you will see me kind of peeking over to the side there. I'm just trying to get a read on the comments. I want to make sure I get you guys there. Yeah, you want to see the LEDs a bit better? I could probably get that down a bit here. Let's see. So we'll get in here. This would be that one, the desk left. Bring that down a little. You don't need to see me anyway, right? And then door left. That a little better so when we start it. There we go. That looks a little better. Yeah, and the screen looks better. Okay. Yeah, my face isn't important. Okay. I like that kind of feedback. All right. So we got that going. So let's kind of look into this. In the first, let me switch over away from me. Okay. In the first episode, we just kind of we're building the beat, looking over the different modes and trying to check out some of the fun things that really brought a lot of attention to this. And one of my favorite things, and I keep talking about it, is the cycle function. Okay, the cycle function on any of the sounds, like I have with, we could do it with this bass drum here. Okay, if I'm in TR-rec mode, a couple of things to notice, and this would be nice because it's a little darker now, but anything with a red step, okay, because when you when you set your steps, you're going to be looking at the keys actually of where you're placing steps, not up here. This is kind of giving you, it's a nice beat division, and it changes based off of doing triplets or different scaling. You'll see your quarter notes will move and shift, but it's kind of nice. It gives you a little run through, right? So it tells you what's running, and then this down here shows you where you've placed your instrument steps. So if we're just focused on the bass drum, you'll notice you hear those kind of extra kicks coming through, right? The little, turn down the, want to make sure I'm not clipping anything. So you can hear the kick drum. What it is red steps are both layers because you're on a layer track, so you could do sequence each sound separately. The green is B, layer B, and blue is layer A. So I put blue on all my quarter notes for the kicks because that's my A layer, my 909 bass drum. I'm using the analog 909 sound in there. You could just isolate that if you wanted to hear just that. And I've gone in, played around with some of the, decay. Right, you can get in there. It's also going through a compressor at the moment. It's just got a bit of effects in there too. Oh, no effects yet, but just playing around trying to get that tuned where you like it, right? So then you want to add more kick and attack to it. And then my B is just an 808 ACB bass drum. Now it has a lot of the same stuff that you find on the 8S with the bass, the 808 ACB bass drum. You don't get coarse tuning, which you get now. You get tune, you get decay, but you get a body decay and depth now to get some extra, right? Like how much pitch change you're going to get out of that body, right? And then the decay of that depth. Get a little more noise out there, and then the big, right? You get those really, some of that kind of harmonics you're hearing is coming from the reformer here. So you have a type. I'm waiting, like I said, for the parameter list to come out or guide to know what each type is, because as you go through about every 10%. So this is the reformer. We'll go through a different, from 0. Seems just to be like a, right? Then you get a little exciter out of it. That's the kind of that first transient, right? So what I did was with the greens, I put, 4, 8, 11, 14, 16. But if I did that for every just normal steps using one variation, it would just repeat these every single time. So you get them almost all the time. So if I hold down a step, that's the great thing about this, is just, again, holding down steps like in the 8S gives you some parameters. You get to kind of motion record, but this goes beyond motion recording because it also gives you sequencing options, like your per step velocity, which is nice, and a probability percentage right there on the step. You get the start, which allows you to move kind of like a micro timing. You can move that step left or right off of the quantized step and move it one way or another to give it a little swing to itself. You could add your substeps. We talked about all the different ones and different triplets and quadruplets that are in this and different versions of them. But cycle is where I like to point people, because this really opens up immediately the 1000 to start being more creative and allowing your variations to be much more than just a single measure. So with this one, it happens every time. So 4 always hits before the second kick, right? If I have just kick going, that's on the red and then the 3 blues, because the red is both, right? I also have my 808 on there. So you always hear this boom, boom, boom. But these other ones, you don't hear every time. So if we look at them and go to this one's on a cycle 2 of 2. This one is 1-1, which means 1-1 every time. Every cycle through, it plays every time. This one plays only the second time of every 2 times looping. So every second loop, or it'd be 2, 4, 6, 8, if I just kept letting it play, every other time it would play this step. This one every time. This one waits till the 4th cycle around on variation B before it'll play this step. It won't play it in any other time that it's playing through this variation. 1, 2, and 3, nope. 4, yep. 5, 6, 7, nope. 8, yes. And then same with this one. This one only plays on the first cycle of 2. So every first time through, yep. Second, no. First, yep. Or third, yes. 4, no. Okay. So it really brings up a lot of extra sequencing functionality there. So, yeah, sorry, man. Yeah. Yo, take this, take that. What's up, yo? Song mode. I'll show you song mode. Kind of what I've been making. Make a hot track. We'll see what we can make here. Yeah, the drunken mode is cool too. I'll show you some of that stuff with the sequencing. So, song mode. You see song up here. Of course, it gets you into doing linking your variations to have them play like everyone wanted before. So you go into song mode. You just choose your song space. And once you've picked it, I believe you just have to, let's try shift edit. Yeah. So shift song to edit the one that you've selected. And this one allows you to choose pattern. So whatever pattern you're looking at choosing, I'm on 5-1, I believe. So we just go to 5-1. Right? And then you could choose your variation and how many times. Now, what's cool is if you don't want to do like A so many times, B so many times, in this first section, I could say, well, I could just say I want A to play 4 times. Right? And then I go down to the next one. Oop. Go down to, how am I going to get that one? Oh, enter gives you different. Copy, double, move it, insert, clear. Okay. How would I get down to 2? Okay. C3 scrolls you to 2. The one that says scroll. So if I wanted A 4 times and then again B, I bet you shift goes, yep. No, it doesn't. Okay. 5-1. Then I want, B however many times, right? 8 times or whatever you want to have it play. You could go that way. And then let's just say C. We're going to do the same thing. Boy, it'd be nice if you... They don't want to do it. Okay. So let's try it this way too. Maybe after B, I'm going to hold vary chain because it says hold a vary chain and then you just press however many times and what you want. So if I went hold it and go C, 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 A, D, 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 D. So yeah, I just hold that and then it'll put that chain in C 3 times, then it jumps to A and then goes to D 4 times. And it'll play that 1 time through before it goes on to, if I do 4 as an end. So if I did 4 real quick, it doesn't let me just do it if I'm on the chain. So I got to pick my pattern. Zombie. All right. Luckily it spins. It's a, I don't know what you'd call it, but as you spin it quicker, it goes through stuff in bigger increments. So if you're trying to fine tune, you move slow. If you want to jump through things quickly, you just move it quicker and you jump through. So if I just do A 4 times and just call that the end. Just go all the way, skip, wait, okay. So we'll just do that 4 times and it ends. So now if you have that, that should be song 2. Should be able to play song 2. And you'd be able to name it and whatnot. Oh. So it is jumping through. I exited the edit, so we're not going to watch it go through, but it's okay. So you see over here, since I've chained a bunch, it shows the ones that are chaining. Play this 4 times, then it stops. Cool. That's song mode. And while it's doing song mode, you can, while it's playing through, do your morph and hit a fill-in trigger if you want to trigger something, tweak your knobs, play it, and perform. This just kind of gives you a way for it to play through your song without having you to change your variations when you want to go to the next section and whatnot. Have it do it all on its own. That allows you to really focus if you want to live tweak knobs or do some morphing. Okay. Yeah, the manual by truck. Yeah. Hello, Atomic Dog. Yeah, like an arranger. They put that in now. It's really cool. The TR-1000 is running on time. I don't seem to have timing issues. Atomic Dog. Yeah, this is like scene chaining on steroids. Yeah, no kidding. Aiming. Gonna have a Jeff Mills, workshop on this thing. I can see a lot of people making this a one-box performance because of the ability to bring in samples and a variety of other things. You could bring in vocals. I think they said, were they saying it was 16 minutes that you could put on each track for a sample? So you could essentially load an entire acapella or vocal if you got a tempo on it and you could tempo it right. You can have an acapella just play along with your beats, and it does a fun thing. So that's song mode. All right, we'll get out of song mode. We're not going to be playing songs. Exit. Yeah. So once you exit out of song mode, then you can just play your variations as they are. Right. So this was just playing around with different sequences. So something like this, if we played with this sequence, right? Just had it. It's just an E piano, electric piano, and a FM perk model kind of playing in there, right? If you hear the 2 levels. It's just a little short piano sound then. Now you can kind of hear it in there. We can get these levels up. Oh, the levels up pretty far. So it's doing kind of just an up and down, right? With the sequence. But if I shift the track, it's going to give me options for the track itself and basically sequencing options, track settings here. First you got direction, right? So you could go play forward. Could play backwards. Ping pong is forward and back. Right. RL goes right to left, but it does the little hop. And then if you do LR, it goes from left to or kind of jumps left and then back to right. And then there's random, right? This might be easier if I was to play like make some kind of melody thing here. Because this is kind of random as it is. Then you go drunk and you'll see how it acts drunk. It wants to stumble forward or stumble back. It doesn't really pick a direction. It just kind of stumbles back and forth through the sequence. We'll try and make a little melody thing, something, or a bass line or something that kind of works with different pitch notes, and then you could see it a little more. And Drunk 2 doesn't seem to go. They say it doesn't repeat, but it repeats a lot. So until I could get that parameter guide out, and they make it, it's supposed to be out later this month, I guess. If they make that out, then I'll be able to kind of give a little more detail on what Drunk 1 and Drunk 2 is supposed to do. Okay. Yeah, it could be. Yeah, we could slow that tempo down to 45, right? Help if I. Feels like we got it on. I just really feel like I'm getting the mixer mode. Probably have a lot of, yeah, pan and decay. It's really cool. You get this will help. You get an LFO for every track, and they each get 3 destinations. There's 4 slots, but it doesn't give you 4 to do. And so we can also open up a bit more with the sound. Same thing with the FM perk. Get it out, the amps off. And yeah, so anyway, if we have that now, if we do kind of the drunk mode. So you can get some, yeah, the ambient folks definitely would dig this because it gives you a nice random setting, right? So it can, but it's still playing the sequence that you've made. It's just kind of moving lazily or drunkily through it. Instead of the random just really just pokes all over the place. The drunk is kind of stays the notes next to it. You don't see it jump over notes. It just kind of goes through and then it goes back and goes through. When you have the random really just hops all over the place. So it gives you those couple different things there. Yeah, the 2 layers. So just with what I'm using isn't the best idea to show the drunk. So we can try it on some different stuff that we've sequenced. I haven't sequenced anything on. I have on everything now. So we could check out a new project or a new pattern if you guys want to kind of make something a little different. I don't know how much you're hanging in there for, but we'll try and build it using some samples. We'll sample stuff in. So let's go to bank 6. I'm using 5. The first 4 banks are filled, as most Roland devices come with filled patterns and filled kits. This one goes up to 4, say 416, and that's the last preset. You can overwrite and initialize all of them. It's fine. They're just there for you to have something. And then banks 5, 6, 7, and 8 are completely blank of patterns. And with your kits, so if I pick that pattern and I press kit, 81 is the kit number. If you, let's see if I can explain this. If I go back to 65, that was pattern 5-1, bank 5, pattern 1. Because at the end of, they went pretty nicely. So 64 is at the end of 4 banks of 16, right? Which makes sense. 64 steps at 64, so they have them all lined up nicely, not jumping all over the place. But from 65 on to 128 is all empty kits for you to create. Now, by empty, I mean there's default 808 sounds on here, but it's not a customized kit. So if you go 16 down to 81, that should be pattern bank 6 and pattern 1. Okay, that way I have everything in between for all my other bank 5 patterns that I make to have kits for them. Because just like any other drum machine by them, your patterns have a kit that go with them, and each pattern should have its own kit. If you share kits, then any adjustments, even knob tweaks or anything you make to a sound will affect every pattern using that kit. Okay, so we have our first pattern. We can give it a tempo. Oh, I think this has something on it, right? What's on this thing? Oh, that was me last night. Okay, so we can clear this out, or just go with what's been started and kind of tweak it. What do you guys think? It's definitely different. Someone's saying try and play some factory patterns. I could do that too. And yeah, so let's go ahead. I'll go to some factory patterns for you. So we all know the dub techno, I think, has been played quite a bit, but we'll go through each one so you can hear. So you got the nice big techno sound, right? And then they have the patterns chaining. And then they all have morphs kind of attached to them. Right, and the morph and the fill-in trigs are great ways, because you could be morphing and getting ready to change patterns if you want, or variations, which makes it really fun to create some buildups and a lot of tension and stuff like that. Next one, Groovy Beach. Okay, yep. Kitchen and throw out of the box, yeah, I'll definitely do that. We run through the internal storage. You get 48 gigs of internal storage for samples and everything. So, okay, I'll keep that one naming. Okay, yeah. Morph is crazy. Yeah, super fun. Okay. So, Groovy Beach, we'll play a little of some of these. Got that Lionel Richie sound to it, right? It's nice, all the variations have some great different sections. Make some great, your little breakdowns or your little vamps or choruses and bridges and verses, right? See, like this, if you just listen to, not a lot changes, but like that kick. They come through somewhere in here, right? Oh, this is a triangle on this, and a maple kick, so yeah. But they have them set for cycles only on 2 of 4, every 1, and only on 4 of 4. So it's great to go through some of these and just see what they've done with the steps when you start hearing all this kind of, oh, I'm on it. There on A. You got to watch this sometimes. I don't know why it does it, but when you go to edit something, it'll jump to a different variation for you to edit. Especially, I'll show you if it does it when you start a new pattern. You go to start editing, you throw in sequences, and you realize you're editing variation E when A is active, and you hit play and you hear nothing. So I'll show you a bit of that. So this here. So the morph for everyone usually has something different. And if where can we do this? Yeah, this one only has one morph edit. All right, so anyway, back to patterns. There's a few good ones. Nothing static. Sounds like from the Lost Boys soundtrack or something, 80s. So here's Down Step Life. kind of groovy, right? Fun ones. Right. This one says slide the morph. Okay. Okay. That's kind of fun. This is where it sounds like fully morphed over. It's like taking some stuff and playing it backwards, shortening decay on some things. Filthy. This is their little breakdown. Same thing, just kind of a... You get pretty filthy on this thing. So... morphs are per pattern. Morphs stay with the pattern. Or... morphs stay with the kit because it's things you're doing within the kit, not necessarily with the sequencing. You're doing it with effects and you're doing it with what you can do with the knobs. That's why everyone, if you've watched that deep dive with Dustin, and everyone talks about it, that really since all the knobs are assignable, they're not stuck to being whatever they say on them, to really assign them to things that you want to tweak and play in performance or that you can manipulate when you do a morph. So when you morph things over, you can set the far end parameter, and then when the morph's off, it's at your natural default parameter, right? So using the morph and switching over to stuff is all based on how you want certain knob positions to be, right? Or control positions. So that's where morph's going to take over. It's not going to do like a sequence jump or anything like that. It kind of stays with the sequence. If you want to play with sequences, then that's when you do like your rolls or like the slicing or something like your step looping or something like that if you're trying to do kind of sequence fun stuff. But you can morph and step loop, right? So if we have this one playing, right? I go to step loop. Let's try it. So you can combine things between playing step loops or even with the Instaplay doing like slicing stuff as you're hitting different slices, triggering them in and morphing. So it gives you a lot of fun stuff. I really like that the morph and the fill-in trig for like an automatic fill-in, right? So it does a fill-in for you and you can morph it while it fills in. So kind of all this performance stuff is right down here. So, okay, back to patterns. So that's subroot. Right? Touchy knobs. Some slow jams. So all the different versions. That 808. A little raw house track. Right. Breaks. Hard techno. Like some of these broken beat stuff in that bass one, right? There's your bass line. Okay. something really cool. I don't know if you're seeing this, but you'll see that when VariChain is on, you can have, you know, a chain of variations. And if you move away to play a different variation, these stay dimly lit. So when you go back, all you have to do is press like that first one, and it goes back to that chain. So if you had two variations that just played back to back, that's how you design them or sequence them to do, and you kept them as a chain, you could play those, and anytime you wanted to jump over to, you know, like a fill of some sort, then it goes back. So, and then you can kind of go back to your A, B, right? The reason I would see chaining the variations over just playing with those cycles with everything in one variation is if you're trying to do a bit more the melodic content, bass lines, or changing pitch on something as it moves between measures. It's going to be the best way because you're going to need to use motion or the step recording to change the pitch, and you can't cycle that. That'd be a whole nother level. That'd be great if they can introduce that, cycling motion recording, to have motion record only happen every so many steps, right? Or so many times through. Anyway, we can just get through some of these quick. It says that this is like, I think, an 8th note triplet. So it's also running last steps, only 12 steps. The deep techno one's kind of nice too. I kind of like this one. Just like those Satoshi sounds. This almost has that kind of Detroit, Chicago house sound to it. Cool stuff. That's with the wow. Right. Gets through a bunch of fun ones. This uses a lot of the VA synths. Has that kind of waltzy 3/4 timing. Glitchy D&B. This is the one you probably heard a lot of too. Those bass lines. 80s again. It's like early 90s rave music. If I'm trying to. See, like something like this one. This isn't going to show it enough because I'm trying to see something that has busier. So we could try the high tom. So it'll repeat some of these steps. You'll see it's drunken, right? It's a great way to throw some randomness into something. If you're kind of feeling like your sequence a little too static on that track. Getting it. So yeah, you can play around with that kind of stuff. Some hard trend. I guess it's how they do house in Australia. Burning Man music. I don't know. Trash Fence. See, these are in different. what's happening there. So you could do the cool house. Jungle. Okay. As you guys see, it just gets groundswell's kind of another one of those. And then this is a nice kind of studio sounding. I mean, it's got a really nice. Nothing on that one. So they're just doing a basic 2 measures, 2 variations they did. It's got a nice, just letting you see that you can do some really nice regular drum things too. TV show music, yeah. Oh yeah, okay. The kick drum don't need to make anything. The kits are there for everything you need. Yeah, the kits really give you a lot of stuff. So it's, you know, taking any, get the, and also the hats. Let's get the hats drunk. Yep, sounds like they gave the drummer too much to drink. Yeah, there you go, boom bap. Just get the drunken sequence to a regular little lo-fi beat. You got, woo. So that's where you get all the FM stuff if you want to, like FM sound. Like those, and then it seems like 3 to 4 just becomes all TR. Just some real basic patterns using, trying to show off the kits, right? No. There. So that's a lot of what's going on. So we could try and play with that 6-1 if you want to. All right. So let's kind of play around with this. So far, let's get out of pattern select. Anytime you're in TR-Rec, the screen is great. It shows clear info with a knob for each thing. So nothing's set here, but you see rate, tune, course, spread, and bit reduction, right? And it shows you what layer you're on. If you're on a layer track on the bass drum, it says layer A. And if I go to B, it's another 808 bass drum sound and a synth kick. So that's all I'm working with on this one, right? And you notice that I'm using both layers. I'm not sequencing anything separately because you don't see anything but red on here. So if I wanted to do like right here just the synth kick, I'd hold A and then put the step down. So what I'm getting here is essentially the kick without the 808 bass behind it. So if I just wanted the 808 bass, I'd hold B. Right? So you hear do 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 do. That's just the 808. Okay. So for this instance, I was just keeping them layers, so I'm just doing the same kick. But as you notice, they switch. This one's only on second cycle of 2 times. The first time, all the time, second time only, and all the time. Does that make sense? So I'm just having the kick become a longer pattern, an A-B pattern, just using A. Right? And then the snare is just a basic. I didn't do anything for the second layer of this. I just thought we can. Right now it's just an 808. Right? And over here, drive impact. nothing's even sequenced on it. So we got our hi-hats already playing here. So you can see flashing when you're in that instant play mode, which ones are playing, right? So on this one I have a drum loop, right? And I'm just hitting these. This is just playing slice 12. Oh no, it's just playing this one, sorry. It's playing the synth sound. But what it's doing also is it's playing clip 12 also. So if I let's why is it not playing now? Let's find out. There we got that sound way down. Yeah, you hear the boom. That's all it is. Oh, I know why. Okay. Because we have it set to play once every 4 cycles, right? So it's playing not only this A sound, this synth sound, right? But what I have it set for is the loop is off, and if I have it play every time around and trigger every time, it's a 4 measure loop. So if I just have it playing every time, you get so this is great if you wanted to do like this and then just have that as kind of your intro and not have the rest of it play and be heard until maybe the next variation. So if we just copy A to B, hold copy and hit A and then B, B is now the same. But here, instead, we can now make this cycle once every 4. Right, so now it'll play through. Right, but in A, we have it playing every time. Or make it just every 2 just to give it a little. Right, and you just hear that little boom sound after because the drums are playing just the slice. I could turn the slice off, and then it's just playing this rhythm with it, right? So I was playing that. I could, oops, not zoom in so far, and bring the end all the way to the end. And same thing with this one, it's just playing them. Right, and then the second one, it'll now play. But you notice it doesn't, since this is only 2 measure, you're going to run into that problem that this is going to stop playing its loop and finish before the other one's done playing. So you could try and do like a loop forward, see if that works. I don't know if it's going to stop it on the next trigger. So you could do that. That works. For this, I'd probably get into the filter, turn it on. You notice this is just for the layer, right? Each layer of these layer tracks has their own filter. Right, so you can layer up two different sounds. We have two different loops actually on here, and we'd be able to do control for each of these if we wanted to tweak something to make one of them go backwards at a certain point. We would set that up just by hitting knob assign. And then we're on that track. We just go and touch a knob and it's going to tell us what it is. This is just setting tune. We're not really looking to set tuning. So we're going to change that. And then you got kind of offsets, which are for everything. So if I use these knobs, these will work, I guess. But then you get into Gen A, or like layer A, generator A, right? Because then you could do just the tuning of just one of them, or the rate of just one, or the attack of the sample attack. Coarse tuning, tuning rate, right? You're now on the filter, or B. Here's B, coarse tune, tune, and rate. Cutoff for filter A, resonance attack, right? So if I wanted to do just like the cutoff of filter A, I could do that. So when it plays, I could play with the cutoff of just the A side of things. Right? I could make it, the second one, make it, you know, filter B's cutoff too, so it does the cutoff for both at the same time. Right? So you have those kind of assignments. So you get 4 destinations for each knob to change. And you can get all the way down to A-B mix, which is generally just on your mix knob, right? Balance, so you can tweak it left and right. Your compressor settings, and then into your mix where panning, reverb or delay sends, sidechain depth, and then it gets into your modulation amounts, and then time. So you get a lot of different things you can assign a single knob to, and this is where you kind of want to assign just something that's going to make sense. Or what I usually like to do is, I guess it'd be fun to go into like just the tuning offset, because then when it's playable, right? So finding out what you want to tweak or include in what it would be a morph is what you would assign to your knobs. So let's look a little more at sampling. I don't know what we got in here, so let's get back to our gen so we can see what's on everything. Snare drum we already got going. This drive impact isn't really anything there. Right, it's just whatever sound that's on A and nothing's on B. So if you're going to import something from the USB, right, you would go to menu, go over to file, enter, go over to import, enter, go down to user sample, because that's what you want to import. So let's see, just watching the Eamon go make the snare ratchet. Okay, we'll get that in there. Can I nudge that individual layer of the drums? Which one are you talking about? On, let me go back a little thing. Yeah, it's going to ruin a few relationships. Yeah, count in. Oh, coffee maker would be nice with this thing. Yeah, I'll show the editor in a moment here too. We'll get into that and show you how it does that. Can you change the color of the screen? No, the screen is the color it is. Unfortunately, you can't change the background. I'm sure someone could modify it. Let me quickly get in. We got a bigger screen, yeah. Yeah, it shuffles up. Okay. Yep. Okay, probability 10%. Yeah, sub probability 10% actually. Oh, on the ratchet, snare ratchets. Live mixing, yeah. The fader, morph, and all that, yeah. Every time you get in there, you can add a new morph, because what I find is as you start jamming on the thing and tweaking knobs, you're like, okay, instead of just tweaking all these knobs at a certain time that I want, I'm going to make it a morph. And then I just got to move the slider. Outputs and inputs situation. Inputs, you have an external in, left, right. I have right above it here is the SP404. I got stuff I was going to sample live into it, although this kind of has an SP in it. But you have an external input. Output, you have your mix out. Right down below that, you have an analog effects out. So you send all your tracks through the analog effects, and then it would go out there and it would skip the master effects. So you just kind of get those raw sounds going through the analog effects, the filter and the drive. And then every one of these tracks, all 10 tracks, have an individual output on the back, which is nice if you're going to send these all out for separate processing or separate channels on a different mixer, although I don't see why. This has a nice mixer section. And then you have a bunch of CV and trigger ins and outs on the back, and USB-C and a USB A for the host for your USB drive, and C to connect to your computer. And MIDI in, 2 MIDI outs, one's a through. Both of them can do DIN sync for the older equipment. So those are your basic ins, and headphones on the front with the volume on the front. So going through, and we'll do importing. Okay, so can it replace the MC707? No. Be great together. So this doesn't have the synth capabilities of the 707. The 707 it has the Zencore synth engine with 8 tracks, so you can really create some complex synth sequences and programming and sounds. This, not so much. You're going to be sampling stuff in or using the VA, and again, you're going to be treating it like a drum machine. So any kind of pitch sequencing is done like a drum machine. You put it down almost like an old 303. You know, you put your steps down where you want to trigger it. Then you go back to each of those steps and you adjust the note or the pitch and the decay length and all that for each of the steps. So it's a little more time consuming. There are a couple things using snapshots where you can kind of snapshot a different note to a snapshot for an instrument, and then do instant record and just play it in. So it almost gives you that chromatic kind of feel. I'll see if I could set something up here for that. We'll go ahead and look at importing some stuff. I just have them all categorized. Sample. We'll do sunset sessions. So this is close. I think we're at 103 BPM. So you can get into all your samples, and then if you want to hear it, like this one says a beat, right? You hold copy. It is loud. I don't think they have in here. I haven't found in the menu where to adjust the preview volume. Right? So you could bring that in with some, right? Or try out some different ones, the cinematic jazz. So let's try and find something that's some of those could work. Right. Let's put it that one. It does a D and an E. It's helpful any of your naming of your samples to, 1, have the tempo, 2, have any kind of pitch or key that it's in, because it will help you. Okay, let's just play with that double bass. Once you hit enter to bring it in, you can put it into a category, which is really cool. There's a bunch of them. This being a bass line, even though it's a loop, I wouldn't put it in loop drum or loop percussion. I would still put it in bass because that's the category it's in. And what you'll notice is your categories have folders. So you could go to bass and then go to bass, ACB, analog, if there was any, samples, user samples. So when I go to picking a sound here, shift and gen, right? I go to my category, go down to bass, and then folder, all, so I could look at all the bass sounds that are in this thing. Analog, ACB, FMs, PCMs are the PCM bass samples. Any sample bass, you'll see I have a couple in there. And then user samples, right? So user samples and samples will be in the same thing. There are some samples that are in here already. And then any, utility I just go to because it's empty, and then you can choose it. And then if you're looking at different drum categories, you'll find them in these kind of different vintage drum loops and found sounds and lo-fis. Anyway, sample. So now I could choose my 80 low slung bass. Okay. Once that's in there, I do want to BPM sync it because I want it to be at 103, not at the 80, right? And I do time stretching for ensemble because it is a bass line, so it should give a better representation of actual pitch. I do have to go over to page 3 just using these arrows to go to the next one because I have to set my BPM. Remember, it's 80, so I got to go down and set it to the proper BPM of my sample. It's really nice. It always says the name down here, so if you have the BPM early on, you'll be able to match it. You need to match it so it knows what natural BPM it is, so it can time stretch and sync it. So if I put a bass line in with this, right? We'll go back to this. I think it's 1 or 2. Let's see here. All right, so it's playing. Right? Now you could do a couple things here. If it's a regular length sequence, like this is a 2-measure loop, then I can just go ahead and set this to play 1 of every 2 times. So I can let it play through and it doesn't re-trigger until it comes back around. Right? So I could do it that way. The other thing that this thing allows you to do is if I have this set to 1-1, is you can see down here slice on off, zooms, start and end points, but this loop off, if I change it, I can make it loop, and it'll loop forward or it'll loop ping pong, which is forward and backwards, right? Or there's play through. And what that does, I don't know if you've seen this yet, but it'll take a loop and it won't re-trigger it till it's done playing. But you'll notice that I had to wait one time through here because this is just long enough that it doesn't get to re-trigger again after the playthrough. So in this case, the best way to do it is to loop it off and just set it for a 1-2 cycle. That way it doesn't trigger the second time and it gets to play the thing through, and then it re-triggers it again because you're not telling it to loop, you're just basically telling it to play. So anytime, if I do all this, it's gonna right? So you get that kind of, so we could do them. So we could try this. So if we do this and make these all 1 of 2 as well. Oops. So let's see what this does. To kind of triggering it kind of gives it a little chop up without doing a slice itself, right? It's just kind of a re-trigger, and then I let it play through. Yeah, the sample will quantize. There's an instant. As long as you have your BPM set right and BPM sync on, so we could do... So you can, which is kind of fun. Don't want to do any nudging. If I go back to the instrument, I don't time stretch it. Just to be up at that speed, it's going to tempo lock it, but it's not going to time stretch it, so it doesn't keep the pitch naturally. It's pitched it up now. Right? So if I... it'll keep in time. So it all depends on how you want to approach BPM syncing it. Of course, if you want to stay in time with everything, time stretching it. There's classic, which gives kind of I don't know how it's based off of, but then there's more percussive sounds. So if you're using like drum loops and stuff that need stretching, do perk. And if it's more melodic musical stuff, the ensemble will be a better time stretch, just like in the 404. The variations on the looping and triggering is magic. Yeah. Being able to do those triggers every so many steps. Like, you could do, just for instance, we'll take these and we'll do them only once every 4. So that means when it plays, so these are playing first time, then I get to play the whole thing all the way through. Right? Because that's essentially what I'm doing, is I make these only play the first time out of 4 times through. That way, and this is only a 2-measure loop, so it'll do that repeat, and then on the second time through, it's finishing up what it's playing. It doesn't get to finish that last note all the way through before the whole thing gets re-triggered again, because this is 1 of 2, right? So it's going to re-trigger again, but these won't, so then it just plays the loop naturally through a second time around, so you create kind of little variations for that stuff. So yeah, this is... Getting Lost for Days gives you more of a comfortable feeling that spending this much money, you're going to get something out of it. It is what it is. You look at a lot of look at the Juno X, it's over 2,000, right? 2,200, or, you know, I think Roland's trying to bring different levels of machines for people of either different economic ranges or people of, you know, the 8S is great, still in my studio. I still use it. I use it with the 707 and the 404. I have a lot of great stuff on it, and it's fun to jam. It's less comprehensive, so you don't feel so overwhelmed with how many things to do with it. And it's still very performance-based. It's a great drum machine. But this is, I think, geared towards someone who wants to perform with this and go out and do things with it and record full-on songs in the studio. It's given you... I mean, I don't know how much you guys can hear on it. It stinks because going through internet and all that and bit reductions or whatever's happening, you don't hear the sound unless you can go and actually get your hands on it and get it through some speakers or headphones to start hearing some of the stuff, because I feel like sometimes it's missing. But I'm not trying to blast you guys out here. Okay. So we have that little bass line there. Let's try and find maybe like a little piano chop or something to go with it, right? We'll just do this. Oh, we're going to do some ratchets on the snares, right? So we'll get these ones again. Cycle these 2-2. And then 2-2 here. So they only happen on the second time. So this, let's move this, start. I want to get it closer. There we go. Get that. And so forth. Probably this. We get into the filter if we wanted to filter this down, but I think the sound is fine. I'd probably go over to the amp envelope and just start bringing my so that way I got my volume of my baseline mixed in a little better, right? So it's sounding a little better. So let's just go to our, I think we could probably try to do this. It'd be a little, I was going to put the piano on the same thing as the two layers because you can mix the layers and sequence them separately, but I feel you're going to run into a few issues where we're using the compressor, and I know the envelope's A or B, but when you get into like the mixing and any kind of compression and effects, you add it to both. So we can just do it over here on A. Oh, we got the drums and stuff there, right? Yeah, and just like this one's hitting that. Yeah, so you got that in there. If you want, so let's just go to Rimshot. Now, we've imported a sample. We played with that, but let's sample something. Okay. Any yeah, starting to see the TR-1000 feel in this. Yeah, it definitely is. Yeah, first pattern right out. Yeah. Amen. So you can have a lot of fun with the presets because it really helps you get into the performance aspect and playing around tweaking stuff. And then once you've had a lot of that, then you can kind of take what you learned and bring it into here. But a lot of the same stuff. Sub-step probability is something I have not found. It was just regular probability. There's nothing that says like sub probability, right? It's got sub steps and have probability. Now over here, we could put a sub probability. Why not? But this is just all motion, which is crazy. You got 6 different things you can motion record on just one step based off of just knobs, and that's not including up here your effects. So it is a little tricky because I think even with the subs, it doesn't give you like right here. If you put a sub-step, this one would be great if it became a probability. So I don't see it. If it is something that is there and I'm just not seeing it yet because I haven't dug down deep enough, but I figured I played around with enough of these to know where it's at. Like even going into sub-step, it doesn't let you get into probability, sub-probability, yeah. So that's okay. It's not there, but that being the case, you can You just have to use the second variation, right? Next variation would have the sub steps that happen on the steps, I guess, for now. Anyway, let's put something on the rim shot track. Maybe that changes some parameters. Yeah, song mode's off. Once you go into any other mode, oh, sorry. Once you hit exit out of song, you'll exit out and you can go to a different mode and it won't be doing any kind of song structure. And if you haven't made, like edited and put in a song for your pattern, there won't be anything there to play in the song mode. You'll just be playing your variations. So let's try a couple things here with the rim shot track. First, we'll find something we could throw in here maybe. So you could put something like that in and start making like a trying to find something that we can maybe chop up into notes. Trying to find something that works. These are just I mean, that might work, but it just seems a little. The rest of these are just kind of vocal stuff. When you want something, you just can't be happy with something, right? Let's find a different project. Okay. Okay. We could do something like that if we want to, right? So if that's what I want, say just that piano to come in here, okay? I come up to sample, right? Hit sample. Shift sample just gives you some like storage areas to go through and get into the menu of what you want to do, like delete or make a category or whatever you're doing in there. So just sample gets us into the sampling category, and you can see your so something's coming in. Input is external in. Length I have set for 2 measures. So let's just do a 1 measure length. We'll just capture some of it. These are in steps. It goes up to 128 steps, so you can have 8 measure recording into here. Your space time is 71 hours, 42 minutes left of sampling space. I mean, they gave us more. That's definitely a step up from the 8S. So if this is what I want, the nice thing is I could just trigger auto OK, and it should, as soon as it gets a signal, it's going to be just a little loud for the moment, just because I want to record in a little louder signal. Okay. So let's do that. I hit enter, and it's going to be waiting for a signal. Wait for trigger. It's going to do, there you go. All right, so 1 measure happened. Copy, let us listen. That's all I want. Brum, bum, bum, bum. Okay. Enter to edit, or move this knob to edit something. Okay. Normalize. Generally, what you want to do first is going to come out really loud now. Okay. So now we have something we could just kind of use here, and it's really loud, so we'll get fixed in a moment here. But you go and truncate if you're trying to cut the start and end points at any point to truncate or shorten the sample, cut off any silence. You would truncate it after, and it cuts out everything outside of the start and end point. Emphasis adds a little to the mid-range, kind of brightens up the mid-range of something. So good for vocals and anything that might be a little quiet in the mids. Zero snap on, you want to leave that so when you are doing start and end points, it snaps the line to where there's a zero crossing. This is important because then you won't get that audible clicks or anything like that when it cycles are at the beginning or end. So at the zero snap, it means it's cutting it right at a 0 point. There's no sound, no signal. And write in a sign is so if you write in a sign, you could scroll. So you could put it into a category by hitting enter. This is a piano or whatever, so I could go to something like scaled, right? Synth doesn't really work, so if I just go to scaled, I could go other if I'm not sure, but try and get them into their categories. That way when you're looking, it's in the category. I can name it something. This is always a pain. Shift and C3 will delete everything. Your top knobs scroll over. These scroll through the bottom. It is a, you have to, this is where scrolling fast goes in handy. PI, we'll just call it piano just to make it real. Okay. Like, come on, rolling. I get it, whatever. You could do this probably quicker on the app. So once I do that, I could go to assign. If I just go to execute, it's just going to save it into the memory and not assign it to any track. So the nice thing here is I could just scroll over to, you see ABs for layer tracks. But if I go to rimshot, execute. So it saves it into the memory and puts it on my rimshot. So now I would go over here and start bringing down the volume of it. We know we recorded at whatever our tempo was, so you got to put it there so it stays with it. We recorded at 103. Is tempo sync to this? Okay. BPM sync on. You can do the stretch to keep it. Right. Yeah, okay, the gain is what I was looking for. So now we can play it. Right. So I'm going to take this one that has those two sounds on it, right? The A sound. And we're going to take it off so it just has the drums. So I can get rid of it, or I can just hold B and tap it, put a green in, so now it's. And 1 to 2. So now it doesn't have that synth sound, and I could focus more on putting my rim shot in, right? But instead of putting this in, let's hold Instaplay and go to slice, which is number 15. And when you do that, all 16 steps become slices of your sound. Right? Right? Haven't gotten too far into these slices where we can, we could select, choose the length. Goes down. Okay, I see how we might have to get in here. Zoom in a little. Now here's what I would like. Let's see if it does this. If I clear. Oh, okay. Interesting. That's my first slice now. So as I clear, interesting. So if I move the start, There you go. And move that start over. Right. So you start making your slices. Cursor looks like it moves to the next place, and as you start from there. And so as it's real quiet. Go into your TR record, see how you did here. And the nice thing is you can change it. So if I wanted to change this step, I can go, and you see it says slice 3, so I could change whatever slice I want it to be. So I go back to 1. And I could take this one as well. So it kind of rolls that out. You see each of the slice numbers, and make this one every 2 of 2. So you can chop it up, use instant record to just record in what you're doing if you want. Makes it really, really easy to kind of play those in. And it just is going to take a little bit of work, it seems, if you want to go through and really fine tune and chop something up really nicely. It seems like you have to take a little time, go to each one, and adjust the start and length of each one. Okay. That's kind of working with your slicing. And then we could take even the rim shot. We're not really hitting any. Yeah, those are all odd numbers, so. You play it the different directions. Anyway. Okay, so that's kind of importing samples. Right, and being able to use them, manipulate them how you need to with your sound. You can hit a filter with it if you want to get it. And send that one into some delay. Anyway, what do we got here? You could record you're playing a pluck over its notes in a scale. Yeah, so what I could do, let's totally get rid of this sample, okay? It's just, we're going to get a different instrument in here. Let's actually, before we do that, I wish it didn't go all the way back to the beginning, but whatever. I think this one had a, I'm not looking for a pattern. Trying to look for, okay, let's just go to, trying to get maybe just like a, I swear it was in here. Got it a little. Didn't we have just a little piano sound there? That's not going to work. Perks. I just want to get I want to get something in demo loops here. Maybe this will have it in it. 124. Oh, those are just loops. Never mind. Why can't I just find something that's not a loop? Swear we had one. Maybe a cloud. Fine, we'll just use one that's in here. I'm just making it difficult here. All right. We want all. Let's just do synth sounds, okay? Just so we can hear what we got working here, because it's going to be so quiet here. All right. You're going to make me. Hey, what'd I do? Ooh. Did I freeze it? I did. Interesting. It's getting too hot in here. I didn't write that pattern either. That's okay. We didn't do much. We got this on video too, so I can send it to Roland. Yeah, it wouldn't be Roland if you didn't have to dive around. Yeah. Well, we got this on video, so I'm gonna chop it out and send it to him. All right. So we're on that one again. So we want 6-1. All right. Just so we had something going here, right? I'm playing around with stuff. Here, snare this. See, when I load it up, it's on F. I want to be on A. So let's do that. That should work. All right. So let's go ahead and pick a sound now for this rim shot. Just wanted to show you guys we can do synth. We'll do scaled because then we could just put actual notes, I guess. So you have your pianos, right? It's just going to let me do this now. That's mine, right? You can see it's in there, that piano. And those are loops. So we'll just do a piano, regular piano, acoustic piano. Okay. And we could adjust all kinds of things with it, but instead of that, what we're going to do is knob assign the tune knob to course tune. Okay. That way, let's see if we could do this now. So we go into Instant Play, Snapshot, and see if I do this right. So say we're going down to, we're going to drop in an octave. Before we do though, I want to take this tune. There we go. Because now we have, oh, that's better. So I think, let's see if I could do this right. So let's just drop this down to a, down 7 as a F, right? So we got F, snapshot 1, that's what we want. We want down 7, snapshot 2. So we'll call that a G. We can call that a G sharp. So let's do it like this, okay. A sharp, C, C sharp, D sharp, and F. So there should be an F sharp, F major scale. Right? Give it some reverb. So now you have the snapshots. So if you wanted to, in instant record, you could record it in. So that's not the one you wanted, right? So you notice you don't hear it. It's all just one note. That's because what you're putting in with these snapshots is actually motion recording. So you're noticing over here, you can see we have one semitone right here, and went back to -5 here. So we got to get rid of this one. So you could just, to get rid of the motion, you do have to clear the step. So just clear the step, and then you could put it right back at whatever semitone you wanted it to be. But if this is already -4, then you want this one to be, we'll just make it -1. And that's a -5, so what it does is it kind of drops down there because it's going to, the tone's going to carry over, and the motion's going to pitch it down. So you can play around with it a bit more to then same thing with these. You can make this one 1 of 2 and this one 2 of 2. What's fun too is you can see these little of 3s, so you get these kind of every 3 measures. You can make it only the second time in 3 measures, and it repeats these 3 measure cycles. Not the whole thing, but every 2 of 3. So every 6, you're going to hear it twice on 2 and 4, right? So it's pretty interesting. You can get these so they shift kind of through the sequence when you think they're going to be. So this would be 2 of 2. So then it's. This kind of stuff making sense here? What do I got here? Yeah, chromatic tuning kind of per step. Yep, Snapchats are winners. Yeah, it's nice because it's there, and I don't, let's see, if I go to, since we're in snapshot mode, if I go to like this one, I could have separate snapshots here too, right? If I wanted on the drums to have different tunings or decays or whatever I wanted, I can, it's basically like setting a motion record, the step and the pitch at the same time. You just got to kind of do it ahead of time with your setting a snapshot, right? Going into snapshot mode, holding instant play, going to snapshot, hold down the snapshot, and then you have all these things that come up, right? So you could do different like pitch octave changes and stuff like that for loop kind of stuff. Okay, what else can we looked at the same, oh, if you guys want to just take a peek, let's see if I can do this. Quickly, we're going to, yeah, putting relative keys, since you have 16, if you got just, if you get 8, you know, in a scale, because majors and minors have, well, 7, then 8's the octave, right? You could essentially put 2 different scales or 2 different keys across the 16 keys. Okay, I'm going to, yeah, I'll work on it. Like I said, Eamon, this is hour 3, just past hour 2. Right, I did the first hour and a half on that episode 1. This is after, I haven't really done anything with this prior to doing these episodes, because I want you guys to see, from getting it to learning and discovering and exploring it without too much. I mean, I watched the deep dive a couple times, but, and just coming from the 8S gives me some familiarity of how to do certain things. But getting through and finding these extra programming, I love the live sampling in of stuff. I think that's great. Also, what I'll show you here is, I'm going to see, I should be able to do this. How can I share screen? That's what I want to do. Share screen. I want the app. Share. Okay. Oh, do I need to bring that in? Add to stage. Bam. Okay. Yeah, let's make them group layout. That doesn't work. So what do I do now? Now I can't get it to go back. That doesn't look big enough. Okay, let's just do that. The app's what you want to look at here. So with the app, okay, you get all your instrument, mixer mode, let's get that back in. I think because I turned it off, it didn't want to. Okay. Okay. See if this works now. There we go. Instrument tab, which gets you your specific instruments. Whatever one you got bass drum, snare, low tom, high toms, rim shot, all the way across, hand claps, all that kind of stuff. And then you can do what you want with each one. You have all your settings for the layers. If you're on a layer track, right? You have layer A, layer B, the effects that go with them, with your compressor, and any effect you choose. Right? So you can edit each of them. You have the generator with the hold mode, which is kind of basically how it's going to hold the sample playback, right? Because if you take the hold mode to something like time, it's going to hold the sample for a certain amount of time before it lets it go, right? So this is on the high tom track. I have on InSplay, high tom. Okay. So go to this one so you can hear it. You hear how it fades out quickly? We're not holding it long enough. That's holding it. And that's all you get. And then you have to extend like your decay time if you want to hear the whole thing, right? But with this hold mode, if I bring this straight up, then you'll hear it right away. Right? If you want the whole thing to hold, you don't do time. You just go to whole, and it never fades away. Now you could put a amp envelope to do something a little different. Kind of the same thing, but this is after the synth is playing, and you send it through a filter. Then you send it through the amp envelope. Same thing, you have a filter envelope here, where you can hold it, the filter open, right? Or not, and just have the filter open and close. You get a choice of a filter or an EQ, depending on what your purpose is. If you don't need the creativeness of a filter and a filter envelope, then just using an EQ will be able to sculpt the sound how you like it without having to go through all the filtering and resonance and the envelope. Okay. Here you could pick your sounds, right? Go in here, you have all your presets and different categories of sounds. All right, and then you could write it, which will write it to the internal storage if you've created your instrument. Because layer A, layer B, the instrument effect, all that kind of stuff is all used and saved as an instrument in the kit. So when you load that instrument, you get all those settings as well. Yeah, this is great. Amen. Get in there and start busking. So this is showing you all your modulator. Look, your LFO with your three, each instrument, not layer now. The layers, the modulator's the same. The LFO applies to both layers. So, but you can target separate things. Look at all those things you could target. And you get 3 targets. It's so, I love this. This is such a huge step over the 8S because the 8S had 1 LFO per kit, and you had 1 target on each instrument. This gives each instrument their own LFO with 3 targets. So that's really cool. The amp settings, if you need your A and B levels, the mix of your A and B, overall gain for the instrument, and then it goes to the track gain after that. Okay, so you got your amplitude, so you can mix everything and give them an overall gain, and then kind of afterwards, because you have a compressor on here too, right? The compressor is, where'd they put it? There. When you open up effects, the compressor's there. So it's going to go through the compressor before your mixer. Okay, and then if you go to mixer mode, you have all your different levels you can play with, right? You can adjust them here, and they'll adjust. And you know, if I move them on the TR-1000, moves on screen. Got panning, sidechain depth, track gain, which is really nice. You could choose your sounds here. Okay, you have your effects routing. You can go through, which means it doesn't hit the master out effect or the analog effects. If you choose through, if you choose master, it goes through the master effect and analog. If you want to bypass the master effect and just go through the analog effects, you could do that. And then your individual outs can be sent to different places. You can mute and unmute, right? Reverb and delay sends, really nice, very basic, straightforward, right? Then you can get into your kit. Yeah. Scott, this is just going to be on my YouTube channel that we're going through. So it'll be up here. Episode 1 was previously. This is episode 2. I figure if I do about an hour and a half to 2 hours per, we'll go through 24 episodes to make it the first 48 hours with this thing and see how much we've learned on it and what we've done. It's kind of what I'm just kind of theming this off of. We might make it to 48. We'll see. This is just me playing hooky from work so I can show you guys at a more decent hour for some. I know it's probably late for others, but this is the time I could do this. Okay, so looking at the kit, same thing. Pick your reverb, pick all your stuff that you want to have. It gives you all the parameters, your delays, your analog effect. Do you want the filter and drive? Do you want just the filter or just the drive? Right? You can pick that. Your master effects, you have all these different nice master effects. Some really cool ones are the DJ effects looper. You can do a filter and drive on the master effect, which is kind of cool. It gives you that SP404, the SP filter and drive combination. Scatter, everyone likes. The nice thing about the new scatter is you get 3 different knobs. So now you could change the type of it, the depth of it, and actually the balance of the scatter. So it's not just overriding everything. You can mix it in. Same thing with like the sideband filter. That sounds better mixed in, more performance-based if you can mix it in than use it as part of a morph. Master effects are part of morphs. Really cool is they put this FET, the compressor in here. I think it's an 1176 modeling, but it gives you a really nice master gluing style compressor that just brings all your drums together and raises them up and makes it sound really good. A couple transient effects and noise. And then common setting for the kit, your gain, do you want to clip, any kind of clipping, and a routing matrix. Each instrument, do you want it to go through, not do any master effects or analog effects? So it's really quick. You can quickly decide what's going to hit the effects and not. Okay, those are your 3 different modes here. I don't think we have anything. I was going to say, yeah, we don't have anything chopped. So I don't think it shows the chop stuff, but we could try that. Let's do that with the the synth, and we'll slice it. Yeah, okay, so you can see when I sliced it, even on the screen, it immediately brought up the slice numbers, previewing. I could click this. Ooh, you click that arrow thing and it brings your slices up nice and big. Look at that. You can preview it. Slice on, fade, loop. Very cool. Can I adjust these? What if I go down here to 8? Oh, it does move. So I can go there and bring the end of it all the way to there. Okay, so maybe I want 1 to go there. 3 is going to have to move down. 3 will just be this hit, right? 4, can I clear that slice? Where's it clear? No clear. What if I have it and I hit delete on my keyboard? Nope. Remove slice. There, so it's 1, 2, 3. So we have and then this 4 would probably take over those. So it is just a right click on the slice and you can add a slice, remove that slice, remove all slices, or auto slice based off of time divisions, level, and transients. This is in the machine too. I'm just trying to find where those things. Oh, okay. You just hit enter. I'll show you that when we get back. Okay, so those things are there to add, remove, and all that stuff. So you can go through and do all your little slicing techniques, and like this one, remove. So 5 goes there, 6 is there, 7 there, there. Remove that one. So you're getting your little chops up a little better, you know what I mean here? So customizing your chops. We can make this one the last one. We even have more chops if we want to, or slices, because we've only done 13. So if we wanted to add more in, we could. So now we have our different. There you go. So it's a great visual way, and then I could just shrink this right back down. And there all of that is. Amen. Always looking to make a deal. I like it. Anyone wants to go halves on it. All right. So these are all the things that you can do. And, oh, I was going to show you. Let's go to our ride symbol, okay? There's something over there already? What? What's over there? Okay. A little too relaxed for that there, okay. So, say this loop, I don't want it. I want a new loop on here. I can do a couple things. I could go right into this little user sample. I think I could do it up here too. No. So what I want to do is I want to do it in the generator section where it shows it's in chord, it's a user sample, this is the name of it, and there's this little arrow right here, this triangle. When I click it, I could go through a bunch of different, here's all the other samples I brought in, right? I brought these in, and then these are other samples, right? Tons of samples. Oop. But you can see this import and assign sample. If I click this, it opens this window here, and it says drag and drop and select category. So if I know what I'm going to do, I could go up to my window folder. I don't know if you're probably not going to see it, right? Because I'm not sharing the whole window. You're just seeing the TR-1000. But bear with me here. We're going to do like a goes doing. Let's see how this is. Maybe not that one. Let's find one that's a little. Something we could do. Maybe the vibraphone. Let's get into the waves. How about this? Or maybe a sex pad. Okay, why not? Okay, so we're going to do a. Keep trying to find something. Okay, just stick with something here. All right, we're going to do a saxophone sound. Okay. I'm just in my window finder. I know you can't see it because I'm just showing you the editor, but I basically opened up a window that has samples. I'm grabbing one and I'm dragging it down to here. Okay, so I'll grab it, drag and drop. Hey, you're not dragging. Why are you not dragging? Let's try with a different one. Should be just fine. Let's see what we have here. Okay. Let's just trying to come up with something quick here. Boy, when you really just want something, then you just. Thank you guys for being patient with me for a second. Okay, please work on this one. Why are we not getting a drag and drop here? Let's get out of this, maybe try it again. Import and assign. Why doesn't it let me drag? Okay. Click. Click and drag. There we go. You see it's dragging in here now. There. I don't know what it was, but I dragged something. I could drag a few and batch import a bunch of stuff if I wanted to, and you could sample. Okay. So we're going to put that in. Boy, I don't know what it would be. Put in other. Import and assign. Because it's on the RC track, there. And now I have it in here. So if I go back to, we're in the instrument, I have to make sure BPM sync is on. I'll time stretch it. Okay. So it's in here now, our little orchestra track. All right, and then we can play it in the machine. So we'll lay down one hit, make the cycle 1 and 2 because I think it's a 2 bar. And then we'll listen. So I have to remember what the tempo is, and it is 90. Okay. Because again, this is important when you're on your machine. Now with it all, so now it should be. Right? So now you got your sample. It'd be kind of cool if they, so let's say import sample, export sample, transfer backups, reload, write instruments, initiate generator, or initialize. Oh, the scale factor, I think it gets bigger or whatever. Anyway, we're going to go off of that. Any other questions about the 1000 editor or app? Yeah, and once, this is the first time I messed with the app too, so the only thing I did prior was I drag and dropped a sample on into the app because someone was on a post was saying they were having a difficulty, so I wanted to make sure it wasn't glitching and I could do it, and then I wanted to show you guys. So it seems to be working, dragging and dropping a sample in. And I think you could do it if you're just, well, I don't know. That's the best way to do it, I think, because you can assign it right away to a track, and it's there, and it's right off your computer. Well over 2 hours now. I better, all right, I'll jam out a little beat to finish. All right. If it's over 2 hours, I better stop because we're getting into episode 3, I think. All right. So last thing I'll try to do is make just a quick morph and see what we can do for that. But let's get this playing. We're going to get rid of that piano. So we got this. Let's figure out how to make a morph. First, you need to edit the morph. Shift edit. So with the morph at 100%, I want master effect on. Oh, this is a scatter. All right, we'll just do type 4, depth 50, and on. We'll do cutoff up to 50%. And then on our sample, what could we do? Oh, we don't have anything assigned, so let's just see if this works. I haven't been able to do that for a morph yet. Okay, so then add a morph. So if it starts, morph on, shift morph, edit. I don't, might have to look into that. I don't know how to, because it's not letting, if I do that, it's not letting me go to any, my cutoff is still on the RC. We'll save that for episode 3. So we'll just do episode 3 for that. There we go. first. Cool. Let's save that. My feeble attempt at making some kind of hip-hoppy beat. Hip-hoppy. Oh my goodness. All right. Five one. That way different on that one, huh? Just don't know how this is getting through. Can be fun to do. Anyway, let's cut it to that. I'll get my face there anymore. We're still in that split. There we go. Big screen. There you go. So that's what we covered in the couple hours we got to play around with. We got to check out the app, doing a little sampling live into it, importing samples into it, and playing around with slices a bit in these different little play modes down here. They can be a lot of fun to use. So go get yourself one or two. Go get yourself one and dig into it, and I'd be happy to be here the whole way, helping you and answering questions. I'm hoping these videos are going to help a lot of people, and I am really hoping that Roland wants to have a Roland Cloud Academy course for this, so I could teach official courses on this, and we could really structure it into kind of a curriculum instead of me just sitting here wandering around on this thing. But that's where I'm at right now. So, all right, guys. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. It looks like there's 15 or so that's watching. I think that's still doing it. So I appreciate all of you tuning in with me. I hope you were able to hear it well. I'm not sure if there's any kind of ducking happening if I'm talking while it's going, but let me know in comments afterwards if something needs to change, if you think the volume of the machine could go up, because I really want you to hear the machine, right? This is what it's about, and especially playing around with those analogs. Maybe we could get into that next time too, and just more sound sculpting and designing, discovering sounds. Okay. Otherwise, I think that's about it. Something I was playing with. That I recorded into it, right? And we'll get in here.
For your thoughts that are wandering all over the place, they're already swimming in that.
I think this is where it was. Yeah, there you go. Anyway, all right, guys. That's it for me. I need to go to my day job and actually get some work done. So I will catch all of you guys another time. Maybe tonight. It might be tomorrow. We'll do another episode. Just see where I'm getting at with this and how far along we can go. Otherwise, thank you guys so much. And before I go, okay, ciao. Ciao. All right. Yeah. Thank you guys so much. There you go, Scott. I sold a few things as well. So, oh yeah, aloha, Scott. Aloha, guys. And thank you, Michelangelo. Michelangelo. All right, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Aloha.